Hey guys, how's it going and welcome back. So in today's video we are going to do a review on the Epiphone Lespaul Special 2. Now apparently I forgot to do a review on this thing initially. So normally I would do an update review long term, and because it has been just shy of 6 months by a few days since I picked this thing up. I actually got this November 15th of 2019. It's now April, of course, of 2020. I got this on a marketplace deal for 80 bucks. It was a pretty good steal for a left-handed version. Even right-handed, 80 bucks is still a pretty good deal. Anyways, I've upgraded the tuners on it, which I have in the video for the demo and upgrades that I did. So you can also check that video out if you want as well. But I've also upgraded the knobs from plastic to these metal ones that actually have a set screw to also lock them on there. Not that I need them locked, but that's the style of knob they are, and so I got some nice chrome knobs on this thing. And I did put a chrome poker chip on with the treble and rhythm thing. So a couple little upgrades, better tuners, cooler knobs, little treble plate thing, works for me. I still might actually change this plate over. I do actually have one in silver that I might install. But anyways, get to that another day. I don't need a string butler on this thing. It actually holds its tune extremely well due to the fact that Epiphone, unlike Gibson, Epiphone actually narrowed things down enough that things come straight enough off the back of the nut that it does hold tune really well even for some string bending. Now these things are shipped from the factory with 10 gauge strings, so 1046. And that's what I've installed on it. I think when I got it, it had 9s on it because they kind of felt like 9s. They're a little on the light side. The neck is actually running pretty straight on this thing. There's actually very little play above, so it has just a little bit of upward bow to it, which is what I need. That's the way it should be anyway. The intonation, I've gone through it, and it's dialed in really nice too. It's a fantastic playing guitar. Now, as far as the main specs go, it does have 2 open coil Alnico 5 humbuckers, and of course your standard 2-matic bridge and stop bar tailpiece. The hardware, they say chrome. Scale is 24.75. Nut width is 1.68 inch. Neck is a bolt-on, of course, on this one. It's one of the cheaper Epiphones. The neck is actually made out of mahogany. Fretboard inlays, or they call it RW/dot, whatever that's supposed to mean. And of course the body, they say, is basswood. Now there are different variances of this. This one just happens to be in what they call a vintage burst. Now it's now discontinued at Long & McQuade. Last month it wasn't, but it is now. And the left-handed model was actually discontinued quite some time ago. So to find a lefty, you're going to have to find a used one somewhere. But anyways, you never know. Even Long & McQuade might come up with another left-handed one, because they did have one at the time, and before I got this one. And I kind of let it go. I went back the next day and it was gone, so I figured, well, it's not meant to be mine. I'll wait. Someday I'll come across one. And sure enough, a while after, I did find this one on Marketplace. But nonetheless, it is a really kick-butt guitar. So even if you're paying retail for this thing, it's definitely worth the money. Now, Best Buy actually has this in a right-handed version on sale right now. And you can also get a starter pack, which I believe it's Long McQuade. So Long McQuade right now for $249, they have this in what's called a cherry burst, which actually looks kind of nice. I'm not sure which one's the nicer one, the cherry or this one. Kind of hard to say, but no lefty version, so I ain't buying it. Anyways, it's on sale for $229, regular $249. This one was about $259 to $269. Originally. Now the starter pack they have is actually this very guitar, believe it or not, but it has had some changes to it. Now on the player's pack it comes with a gig bag, it comes with some picks and a strap and an amp cord, and it actually comes with a little amp. I'd like to just have the little amp with it and have fun with that, but it doesn't work that way apparently. They also have it in an all black version as well, which kind of looks mean looking, which is nice. Now, as far as the specs go on the player's pack, just so you know ahead of time, they did make some changes. The neck is still a bolt-on mahogany. You still got your 22 fat frets on here. You got a basswood body still. There's another version of this, but they did put 700T on the bridge and a 650R on the neck. Okay, and they say this delivers long, singing, sustain, and true Les Paul tones. Comes with a 10-watt amp. Now the other one here, the Cherry Burst, that's where they've made. Where did I see it? Yeah. Okay, the Cherry Burst one for $229. That one there has 2 humbucking pickups, which long singing delivers blah blah blah. Probably the same ones. They don't actually say which ones, but it has a maple body, alder and maple body, so it's a mix with a rosewood neck and mahogany neck, rosewood fingerboard, and an alder maple body. So anyways, again, 22 frets. It's a nice looking guitar. But all that being put aside, you won't find a link to this guitar for Long & McQuade in the video. But you can certainly go to Best Buy if you want, and you will find this on their website. Now, for a set of Alnico 5 pickups, these things they're pretty hot. They got some really nice output to them. They're very clean. They're not what you would call really muddy. Like, they don't sound like garbagey muddy. They're good, which we're going to get to. So there's no push-pull stuff here. You just got a volume control, a tone control, and a 3-way switch, and that's it. What more do you really need anyways, right? So let's go through some clean tones. I'm using my Roland Cube 40XL amp, and right now it's on the JC Clean channel. The microphone that's going to be picking up all this audio is actually my Zoom H1 recorder that has a line out going to my mixer, from my mixer into my USB Focusrite box into my computer. So I like to room mic stuff, especially this sort of thing, because then you get my sound of my acoustics in my room with my amp and so on, and with my settings. My amp, by the way, is bass, mids, and trebles are always at 12 o'clock, just so that you know. I'll probably still repeat that 10,000 more times, but you get the idea. So let's play around a little bit and see what this thing sounds like for you. That's our bridge. So let's go to both pickups. And just the neck. Alright, let's put some grit through this thing. Both. neck. Stays in tune great, even with some nice aggressive bending. Okay, so for our next little pile of fun, acoustic stimulator. Both pickups. Neck only. Alright, so that's three main things you'll do: clean, dirty, and acoustic sim. Of course, a lot of people like the acoustic simulator. Some people don't. Anyways, so now the distortion that I was using on this is actually called Extreme. The Cube 40 amp is kind of like a semi-modeling amp with Cosm effects in it. It's a really beautiful sounding amp. So it can really show off a lot of guitars actually really well. Because your amp does make a huge difference along with your guitar. But anyways, the fretboard, no matter where you are, it plays nice, it plays clean. If it buzzes, it's because you're getting too aggressive. This thing has a very, very low action on it too. I love the setup on this thing. This thing is even lower than both my other Les Pauls. You know, it's like really pushing it here. But that's okay, because I prefer low action. It's a lot easier for string bending too. But it's also a lot easier too for doing bar chords nice and clean. Especially you don't have to push down so hard or so much distance, right? So I like it. It's a really nice guitar. I mean, for the money, you know, I definitely play live with it. In fact, I'm going to be, just because it's a nice guitar to take outdoors with and not worry about my good guitars, you know, getting like nailed from the sun and all that sort of thing. and or if I'm going to play in cooler weather. This is a great little guitar for doing that. But even just regular, general, everyday playing, I'm sure I'm going to be taking this to church a number of times, you know, because I do play electric guitar in the church as well as acoustic. It's kind of like my mood thing. If I'm in the mood to play electric that weekend, I'll pack up all my gear and bring it, or if it's just acoustic, I'll just bring the acoustic. But I definitely want to get this on the sound system at the church and see how it does in a live setting that way too. Because when I play in church, I don't take my amp. I just plug my pedal board right into my DI box on stage and right into the sound system. So I hear everything back through my stage monitor, which is a lot different sound than my amp, but you know, at least I know what I'm doing, and I can hear the house speakers too once everything gets cranked up. So, but anyways, fretwork on this is amazingly good. It's not a bound fretboard, okay? Although it kind of make you wonder how they did the fretting on here and sealed the ends really nice. So it's possible that it's kind of like a, I don't know, it's definitely not bound. They just filled the ends in where the slots are. But very good fretwork nonetheless. Very nice. No uneven frets anywhere. When I got the guitar, it didn't even have a scratch or a dent or a ding even on any fret. So the guy just really didn't play it. I don't know if he bought it brand new or not. I didn't even ask. But it had nonetheless not even really even been played. You got to be a light touch when you start working with any kind of a jumbo fret, even mediums. They need a light touch, otherwise you're playing out of tune. I like the body. It's not overly heavy. I mean, for the kind of wood it's made out of, it's got some heft to it, you know, which is good. You know, but at the same time, it's not like your typical Les Paul that weighs 1,000,000 pounds, right? So that's good. I did put Shaler strap locks on this thing too, so they're actually authentic Shalers. And I'm fine. I'm going to leave the black ones on here. But I'm not sure if I'm going to swap stuff to gold or not on this one. It is definitely a keeper. I know I will be upgrading the tuners to a much higher end set eventually. Some people think that you're a little crazy when you start spending money on a cheap guitar, but you know what? If the guitar plays well, feels great, sounds great, you know, and the build quality is really decent, why not spend a few bucks on it? Who cares? You know, even once if I maxed this thing out to what I want to do for hardware, I'm still going to be, you know, less than a brand new guitar, you know, or, well, actually no, I'll be a little bit over the price of a brand new one of these, which isn't a bad thing either. You know, I don't mind. It's still cheaper than buying something else that, you know, might not be as nice as this. And I really like the pickups in here. Wouldn't swap them for anything. They're great. The pots will stay, of course. The switch will stay, unless I go with gold. Well, in which case I'm gonna have to get a gold ring and a. Actually, I think I do. Yeah, I've got a spare gold ring. Come to think of it, I do have a spare gold poker chip. I just need a gold switch. But you know, gotta make stuff match as best as possible. Otherwise, yes, if you are looking at one of these guitars, even stock, they are fantastic. Now, they list premium tuners on some of these write-ups. I don't know what they consider premium, but what came with it certainly was not premium. This is the style of tuner that you're going to be looking at wanting to have on any guitar as a minimum. Okay, now these are still cheap tuners. They're like 20 or 22 bucks from China, but they're still great little tuners nonetheless. And I wasn't quite sure if I was going to want to change from silver to another color, but I might yet. Still thinking about it. If I do, I do. If I don't, I don't. But if I do stay even with the chrome regardless, the only thing I'd be upgrading would be the tuners to much higher end tuners. I want some really super fine tuning, like 24 to 1 or something like that. These are like a 14 to 1. But anyways, other than that, great little guitar, sounds great, plays great, I love it. You know, it's a cheap thing for me. I bought it for 80 bucks, I don't care. It's still a great guitar. It doesn't matter how much you pay for something. Expensive isn't always better either. You know, not always. But certainly a really neat little machine. And yes, this one is definitely made in China as well. But still pretty good. I don't know what year it is though. I don't know what year this one is. There was nothing to indicate on here at all. Although I could find out. I do have a serial number I can trace down. So I might, yeah, I'll punch that in and see what year it is. But anyway, other than that, that's all I got for you. Rating, if I had bought this brand new as a lefty, is it worth the money, even with the crummy tuners? Yes, because you can change the tuners really cheap. You know, you will have to bore the holes out, of course, if you got the really crummy tuners with it. So you can get these ones supported that have the nut and washer. So you're going to need a reamer kit for that. But otherwise, you know, the stock tuners, they kind of work. I found that they didn't really hold tuned it very well. And they were very, very sensitive. So they had a very low turning ratio. Okay, which means it didn't take much of a movement. And it moved a lot, right? Where these are a lot more sensitive, you know, type of thing. But yeah, that's pretty much about where I'm at with the thing, you know. So I like it. I think it's cool. So what are we going to rate this at? Star rating. I would give it a solid 4 out of 5. I mean, the thing ain't perfect, that's for sure, and it does come with rather poor quality tuners. But the rest of the guitar is fantastic. You know, even with the plastic knobs, I mean, who cares? I mean, they're knobs. You can switch them. But that would be about the only real gripe I would have is just the tuners on this thing and the fact that it's not perfect. So for that reason, 4 out of 5 is where I'm sitting with it. Let me know what you guys think. And if you got one of these things, let me know what you think of yours. And, you know, would you actually play live with a cheap guitar like this, or would you be too embarrassed? I'm not embarrassed. It's a guitar. Besides, your audience has no idea what you paid for the thing anyway, so who cares? As long as it gets the job done for you, right? That's the main thing. Anyways, thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one. See ya.